In 480 BC, what was said to be the largest invasion force the ancient world had ever seen gathered on the shores of Asia. Its commander, King Xerxes of Persia, sought to conquer Greece, partly, it is believed, to avenge a past humiliation. This was not just a war, it was the culmination of years of planning, a quest for the subjugation of Greece. The story begins 10 years earlier, with Xerxes' father, Darius the Great, and his defeat at Marathon. The Greek victory left a stain on Persian prestige. When Xerxes took the throne, he inherited this unfinished business. For years, the vast resources of an empire stretching from India to Egypt were mobilized for a single purpose: the invasion of Greece. The ancient historian Herodotus claims Xerxes amassed over 2 million personnel, a number modern historians find improbable. Yet, even a fraction of that number represented an army of unprecedented scale, drawn from every corner of the empire. To avoid the stormy seas that wrecked a previous fleet, Xerxes ordered a canal dug through the Mount Athos Peninsula. His army would march overland, supplied by a fleet that shadowed them along the coast. A great challenge was crossing the Hellespont, the strait separating Asia from Europe. Xerxes ordered a bridge of boats. But a violent storm shattered the first bridge, and according to Herodotus, the king flew into a rage. According to Herodotus, Xerxes had the water itself whipped 300 times and cursed for defying him. A second, stronger bridge was built, an engineering marvel with 2 parallel roadways for the columns of men. For 7 days and 7 nights, the army crossed, a river of humanity flowing into Europe. News of the invasion caused alarm across the Greek city-states. Many northern cities submitted to the Persians. But among the states that refused to yield, 2 stood out: the democracy of Athens and the military oligarchy of Sparta. They formed a Hellenic League, a fragile alliance of about 30 states, to confront the Persian invasion. Their strategy was to use geography to their advantage, finding a choke point to negate Persia's superior numbers. They chose a narrow pass where the mountains met the sea. In Greek, it was called the Hot Gates, Thermopylae. Command of the advance force fell to King Leonidas of Sparta, who led the contingent with his personal guard of 300 Spartiates. Along with several thousand other Greek allies, they would hold the pass while the main Greek army assembled. When Xerxes arrived, Herodotus reports he was surprised by their defiance. He waited 4 days, expecting the small Greek force to flee. They did not. On the 5th day, Xerxes ordered his Medes to attack and bring the Greeks before him. The Greek phalanx, a wall of bronze shields and long spears, held firm in the narrow pass. Wave after wave of Persian infantry broke against the disciplined Spartan-led defense, with reportedly heavy casualties. Xerxes then sent in his elite troops, the 10,000 Immortals, but they too failed to break the line. For 2 days, the small Greek force held back a vastly larger army. But then, according to the histories, a local man named Ephialtes came to Xerxes with a fatal piece of information. He revealed a hidden mountain path that would allow the Persians to bypass the pass and encircle the Greeks. When Leonidas learned of the betrayal, he understood the position was indefensible and sent most of the allied army away. He and his 300 Spartans would remain. They were joined by 700 Thespians who, according to Herodotus, refused to leave. Their goal was no longer victory, but to buy time for the rest of Greece and fulfill their duty. On the 3rd day, surrounded on all sides, the remaining Greeks made their final stand. Leonidas fell, and a fierce battle was fought over his body. The remaining Greeks fought with swords and then their bare hands. In the end, they were overwhelmed, reportedly killed by a hail of arrows. But their sacrifice became a legend. While the army fought at Thermopylae, the navies clashed in the nearby straits of Artemisium. The smaller Greek fleet, with the Athenian Themistocles as its leading strategist, inflicted significant losses on the Persians. But when news came of the defeat at Thermopylae, the Greek fleet had no choice but to withdraw. The path to central Greece was now wide open. The Persian army advanced, largely unopposed. Their target was a center of the resistance, the city of Athens. Guided by Themistocles, the Athenians made a momentous decision. They would abandon their city. Their trust was placed not in walls of stone, but in their wooden walls, their fleet of trireme warships. Xerxes marched into a nearly empty city. In retribution, he ordered Athens to be burned to the ground. From the island of Salamis, the Athenians watched their city burn, a devastating blow to their morale. But Themistocles, the master strategist, formulated a plan. The Persian fleet was now anchored nearby. The allied Greek fleet was outnumbered and, according to reports, on the verge of scattering. Themistocles sought to force a decisive battle. He devised a cunning trick, sending a loyal messenger to Xerxes with false information. The message claimed the Greeks were demoralized and planned to escape during the night. Believing he could crush them once and for all, Xerxes ordered his fleet to block the exits of the Straits of Salamis. According to tradition, he had a throne placed on a hillside overlooking the straits to watch his anticipated victory. The trap was set. The large Persian fleet, with its less maneuverable ships, entered the confined waters. This played directly into Themistocles' strategy. In the tight space, Persia's numerical advantage became a liability. The Persian ships struggled to maneuver, becoming a tangled mass and easy prey for the Greek rams. From his vantage point, Xerxes watched not a victory, but a catastrophe, as his powerful navy was routed. The Battle of Salamis was a stunning, decisive victory for the Greeks that changed the course of the war. With his navy shattered, Xerxes' supply line was threatened. Historians believe that, fearing he would be trapped in Europe, he decided to retreat. He left behind his general, Mardonius, with a large, hand-picked army to continue the campaign the following year. The great king returned to Persia, his grand invasion thwarted. The commander of a vast army had been defeated. The sacrifice at Thermopylae had inspired Greece. The strategic victory at Salamis had saved it. This clash of empires was more than a war. It was a conflict that would profoundly shape the future of Western civilization. The threat was diminished, but not eliminated. Mardonius and his army still occupied northern Greece. One final, massive land battle would be needed to decide the fate of Greece. The story of that ultimate confrontation, the Battle of Plataea, is a tale for another time. To see how the Greeks finally expelled the invaders and secured their freedom, subscribe to World History Tales.